Well, hello everyone. You here to show you that the Matthew Tech chip coloring right here, as you see right here, is I went ahead and drew right here. The example right here, it's like a little picture diagram right here of a of a chip, and then of course that this could be what you call is a kind of an example of of course of what I've been thinking about here lately is knowing about is that whenever we're young that knowing about the type of anything that we think about that we think that maybe invented one of these days. It could be maybe a motorized skateboard, whatever you call it. That a lot of times anything that you think that you would be spending your allowance money on, and of course that I'm not really talking about what you say is a decimal fraction, as knowing about is like if you were to actually get a telephone and knowing about how many lines, and then of course knowing about that if it's the amount of lines, or if it's the amount of knowing about it's like if it has long distance service or anything like that on it. But it's like if you were to actually do like a decimal fraction right here, and then I'll go ahead and use like what you call technology as like a kind of example right here. It's like if it's a 3/4 or anything like that, or 5/3, you say, of knowing about whoever in a whole household or whoever's using the phone service, and knowing about it's like you have these different phones, and you have right here it's like you got the webcam right here is knowing about between toy and no toy, and between a no toy and toy. It's like knowing about the fact about whenever you use stuff like this is knowing that you buy them, and a lot of times you can maybe buy a used one, or it's like knowing about nowadays they have like stuff like eBay and stuff like that, to where that you can buy stuff, and knowing about you buy stuff, or if it was given to you, whatever it is, that knowing about how well you use it. But other than that you have right here is for the phone. But I would probably say that knowing about my experience about the allowance by every by every way, back nearly about 25 years ago, if I remember right, back whenever I was a kid, that if I were to get paid, if I were given something, or if I were to be given any type of allowance, it is knowing about is that whenever I was young, that knowing about if I wanted something to play with, and of course a lot of times my parents would buy it for me, and then of course knowing about that do chores around the house, it is, and knowing about finishing school, and then of course doing other things too, that knowing about it's like knowing that the typical family member it is to be proud of me for. But on the other hand too, that knowing about is that yeah, after 25 years, can you really explain to why that you bought what you got? And I would probably say that I can explain a little bit. I don't know if I can really explain to maybe why my favorite color has always been what you call blue, and why I always like to do art type work. But so far as knowing about is that with art, art pretty much gives me that active capability of you say anything that comes to my mind. That's how I usually draw it out. Anything that comes to my mind, that I just how I share my thoughts and my feedback, of course, is talking about right here is like a microchip that's designed to where that if I would say just like something small in size, maybe a little bit smaller than what you call this little magic jack gadget right here, that say used for the phone service and stuff. But you got right here is for the phone, for the you say example for like for the old style phones, is like with the phone connector cord right here is like when you say for the toy phones. But other than that, and knowing about is that the type of stuff that I'm thinking about, of course, will be like a microchip that you can put inside have installed inside of a phone. It is, and it would memorize. It would have you have like the typical security settings on it, but then it would memorize your telephone numbers, and then of course that the way that you operate it by is knowing about that you would probably think that after 25 years and knowing about the type of education that that you think that you can do, that as people ask, it's like what do you want to do what do you want to be whenever you grow up, and a lot of times I think about it, it's like the time for that the fact that whenever I grow up, that knowing about that one of the things that I want to do, of course, was be an artist, and of course, is knowing about coming up with my own ways of explaining about talking about what future technology goes. It's like for the tech chip, a chip that more likely that is affordable, and knowing about between how much money you pay a year or a month or something like that of allowance. And it's like you say, knowing about the type of allowance that that you'll be getting, and of course, besides me, it could be really related to anybody, is knowing about what comes to your mind, and knowing about the decimal fraction is between toy or no toy. I think about that. Yeah, it may seem like a toy because really it may not even exist yet. That more likely that knowing about the type of toy I'm more likely talking about would more likely maybe be, it's like, is a button. It is like you push the button, see what happens. But other than that, knowing about is like between me, it's like with the computers and the e-reading and the Nook e-reader that I got, the type of button that they say that we recommend you push this button, see what happens. On the other hand, too, to knowing about that, that if you click the button and knowing about really what does the button do. But on the other hand, too, to knowing about between a button or a control is knowing about that. Really, I would think that really with anybody, they would like to maybe pay a yearly fee. It is, if it's say basic math, it is that you would pay just to have control over what you like to do. The basic math, and then of course with the basic